The solar orbiter just made this stunning image of the Sun. Who would have thought that such a clear picture of the Sun would be taken so soon? Nowadays, large space organizations across the world are determined to learn more about the space out there. This has made them launch more and more satellites, each with a different purpose. The solar orbiter is one of the said satellites, and it has recently taken a spectacular image of the Sun. Hello, and welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we're going to analyze the stunning image of the Sun that was taken by the solar orbiter. Before we proceed, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing videos. And with that, let us have a look at the image. Before we can have a look at the image of the Sun, I know you're probably wondering, what exactly is the solar orbiter? Well, the solar orbiter is one of the most complex scientific laboratories that has ever been sent to space. And interestingly enough, it is headed straight for the Sun. For years now, the Sun, which is the center of all gravity in our solar system, has been an object of scientific interest. However, the Sun's behavior has remained a mystery to all scientists who have attempted to study it. The solar orbiter is meant to get as close as any other spacecraft has gotten to the Sun and take images of it. It is also meant to look at the Sun's uncharted polar regions. With the help of the solar orbiter's 6 remote sensing instruments and an additional 4 sets of in situ instruments, scientists believe they can find the answers to some of their questions. Some of the questions that they are trying to answer include: what heats up the upper layer of its atmosphere, the corona, to millions of degrees Celsius? And what drives the generation of the solar wind? Scientists have a lot of questions, and they hope that the solar orbiter will help them find answers to each. But so far, what has the solar orbiter discovered? Recently, in March, the solar orbiter managed to take a full image of the Sun in detail. Having been launched in February 2020, the solar orbiter managed to take its first images in July of the same year. After that, it began performing some routine science operations in November 2021. Fast forward to March 2022, and it has managed to take a very stunning image of the Sun. The latest images, which show the full Sun in detail like never before, were taken on March 7, 2022. They were taken as the spacecraft was crossing between the Earth and the Sun. One of the images is the highest resolution image of the Sun's full disk and outer atmosphere, which is the corona, that has ever been taken in history. This image was taken by the Extreme Ultraviolet Imager, EUI. There was another image that represented the first full Sun image of its kind in 50 years. This image, taken by the Spectral Imaging of the Coronal Environment (SPICE) instrument, is one of a kind. It was taken at the Lyman beta wavelength of ultraviolet light, which is emitted by hydrogen gas. When the images were being taken, the solar orbiter was about 75 million kilometers away, which is roughly half the distance between Earth and the Sun. The high-resolution telescope of the EUI is capable of taking pictures that are of such high spatial resolution. It took a mosaic of 25 individual images taken at such a close distance for it to cover the entire Sun. Taking one after the other, it took a total of more than 4 hours. Each tile took about 10 minutes. If you add this with the time that the spacecraft took to point from one segment to the next, you will get a total time of more than 4 hours. But given that it took that long time to take a full image of the Sun, how big is the image? The final image has more than 83 million pixels. These are contained in a 9148 by 9112 pixel grid. If you want to understand this better, this resolution is 10 times better than the 4K TV screens that you see nowadays. In the extreme ultraviolet region of the electromagnetic spectrum, the EUI takes images of the Sun at a wavelength of 17 nanometers. You can clearly see the corona at this wavelength, which is the Sun's uppermost atmosphere. This region has an insane temperature of about 1 million degrees Celsius. If you have a closer look at the Sun's image, you will notice that there are dark filaments that are projecting away from the surface at the 2 o'clock and 8 o'clock positions on the edges of the Sun. If these dark filaments erupt, they will release massive amounts of coronal gas into space. This is what led to the creation of the space weather storms. The EUI is not the only instrument that will be working. The SPICE instrument will mostly be recording the data as the solar orbiter crosses over. This data is crucial in piecing together a mosaic. SPICE is the instrument that is mostly meant to peel back the layers of the Sun. It is designed to start from the corona as it heads inwards to a layer that is known as the chromosphere as it gets closer to the surface. This instrument will manage to do this by having a look at the different wavelengths of the extreme ultraviolet light that mainly comes from the different atoms. If you have a look at the sequence of images from SPICE, purple corresponds to hydrogen gas at a temperature of 10,000 degrees Celsius. In the same way, blue corresponds to carbon at 32,000 degrees Celsius, green to oxygen at 320,000 degrees Celsius, and yellow to neon at 630,000 degrees Celsius. Given all this information, solar physicists can now work on tracing the extraordinarily powerful eruptions that occur in the corona all the way to the lower atmospheric layers. This information will also be relevant in helping them study one of the most puzzling observations about the Sun. They will finally try and answer one of the questions: how does the temperature of the Sun keep rising as you head over to the outer atmospheric layers? Usually with any hot object, the temperature mostly drops as you move away from it rather than increasing. However, this is not the case for the Sun. The corona, which is the outermost atmospheric layer of the Sun, has temperatures of up to 1 million degrees Celsius. Oddly enough, the surface, or the innermost layer of the Sun, only hits about 5,000 degrees Celsius. This is one of the things that has always puzzled scientists, since this is not ordinary. And with the help of the solar orbiter, they might just answer this. The images taken on March 7th were taken when the solar orbiter was just crossing the Sun-Earth line. This means that these images can be compared to the Earth-bound solar instruments, and they can be cross-calibrated. This will mostly come in handy in the future when they have to compare the results from various instruments and observatories. They will not have a hard time doing it. On March 26th, the solar orbiter managed to reach yet another mission milestone. This is to achieve its very first close perihelion. The solar orbiter has now moved on to the orbit of Mercury, which is the inner planet. While here, it is taking the highest resolution images of the Sun that it can manage to capture. In addition to that, it is also recording data on the solar wind particles, especially those that are flowing out from the Sun itself. This is just the beginning of such discoveries, given that the solar orbiter has been in space for only 2 years. As the years go by, the solar orbiter is expected to fly even closer to the Sun, and not just once, but hundreds of times. After all, it was built for this, and so it can manage to do it. In addition to that, the solar orbiter will also try to view the Sun's previously unobserved polar regions and shed new light on scientists' understanding of the Sun. Hopefully, in the coming years, scientists will be able to answer most of the questions they are trying to answer. There are so many space expeditions that are currently going on. Of all the satellites that have already been launched to try and find an answer or answers in the universe, scientists have managed to answer some of them. But this is not the end. Scientists will continue to discover more about the universe as we know it. And who knows, maybe we just might find out there is life beyond Earth. What do you think of the image of the Sun taken by the solar orbiter? Let us know in the comments section below. Before you go, why don't you give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.